Now then, people, it's Joe, it's All Leeds TV, and it's time for your Leeds versus Hull post-match chat. This is going to be a little bit different. Obviously, we like to do opposition review preview. With it being the Hull game, with us losing and a quick turnaround for Fulham, I'm going to stick them both together. So make sure you stay on to the end where we'll have a quick chat with Kathryn Batte, who is from the Mail online reporter and a massive Hull City fan. Just a few quick thoughts from me, really, on the game. Look, we have the luxury now of being a Premier League team, and we all have that type of attitude of, well, it's a Mickey Mouse Cup anyway, so we're not bothered. I think when you're in the Championship or in any of the lower divisions and you lose, you give it, don't really matter. We weren't going to go far, and we can concentrate on the league. I think, if we're being honest, the Capital One Cup, not many teams are really bothered about it, if I'm being totally honest. I think Bielsa last night, I said a lot in my pre-match about how he sees this as an opportunity for the second string or the players on the fringes to get an opportunity. And last night, they didn't really take that opportunity. I was really, really disappointed. We did a live watch-along for the game, and it was like pulling teeth at times. It was really that poor. Listen, Hull could have won the game 3, maybe 4-0. It was that bad. They had many, many chances. I thought Wilkes bullied the back line, especially in that first half. I thought Lewis Potter was good. Honeyman, I liked, of course, Louis Coyle at right back, who captained the side in his debut. We just didn't offer anything. I think I'm more disappointed with the likes of Douglas, Alioski, Shackleton even, which is disappointing. These players that are trying to forge their way into the manager's eyes, and they just didn't take that opportunity. I think the left-hand side was non-existent. There is a shout on Bielsa as well, just for the lineup. We have a deep line midfielder in Alfie McCalmont on the bench. He wasn't used. We needed him. Strout came on, did add a little bit of steel in there, I guess, but the whole midfield was non-existent. The combination of Roberts and Bogus just did not work. They're both very similar types of player, very tricky, very technical, but there was no real metal in there, and that's where we lost the battle for me. I think, again, Casey in the DM, it didn't work. And has probably not come on for the experience. I'd have liked to have seen Creswell and Casey at centre-back, their partnership that they forged throughout their career at Leeds United through the youth system. I'd have liked to have seen that. Leaf on the left side of centre-back didn't work. Rodrigo, I've seen bits, people making points on Rodrigo. He had nothing to feed on. I think in that second half, he had a rocket up his arse a little bit and was trying to, really drop deep to get hold of the ball. He did combine with Tyler a few times. But listen, if we're being honest, we were lucky to even get to penalties. Alioski, who I didn't think was great all night, decent finish, top bins or thereabouts. And we go to penalties. The penalties themselves, I thought they were going to go on all night. There were some really good penalties there. I think the one thing that we need to consider, and I said it on the stream, the fact that Jamie Shackleton took a penalty after your goalkeeper tells you all you need to know in terms of his confidence or his penalty taking abilities. For us to get to 9 penalties is no mean feat anyway, and they were really good. But the fact that Jamie Shackleton took one after our goalkeeper Kiko tells you where we're at. And as soon as he stepped up, I thought, it's not looking good. And we said so on the stream. And ultimately he missed. And Hull deserved to go through. So I'm not going to take anything away from them. They were the better side. It'll be good for Grant McCann. We'll hear from Kathryn in a second just what she thinks on the result itself. But it can only be a positive for Hull City and Grant McCann and their fight, really, to get up from League One. It can only instill confidence in the team and the fans, and they need that right now, whether or not you like Hull City because of the rivalry, if indeed there is one from Leeds aside, but definitely from the other side, it can only be a good thing for them. And they deserved it. As I said, Malik Wilkes, for me, he looked at that lineup, probably seen some of them lads who he's grown up with through that youth system and thought to himself, I'm going to show these because I'm better than some of these. And that's the right mentality to have. And I think he was a real thorn in our side yesterday. But yeah, just really disappointed overall with the performance. The lads who were playing probably could have gone on to play West Ham, and it'd have been an even tougher test for them, and to get some more experience against Premier League operators, and it wouldn't have been full strength from either side. I was surprised not to see Koch and Cooper, because I would have liked to have seen their partnership, but the press conference just being for Fulham, and it looks like Cooper and Koch might be starting at centre-back on Saturday, which is what we need to concentrate on now. Before I leave it, I think, Liverpool's been and gone. We deservedly so got loads of plaudits, but if we don't go to Fulham and get a result, then it's all for nothing, and that horrible tag of they're just another Norwich comes back. I'm sick of hearing it now. But we move on, and that's my thoughts on that game. I think we can all echo it was just drab, it was abject, it just wasn't great, and we'll move on from it. Please stay on after this. We're going to have a quick chat with Kathryn about her thoughts on what Hull City fans thought of their performance last night and what it means for them for the rest of the season. But from me on Hull City, I'm going to leave it there. Please keep it locked to All Leeds TV. We've got so much content coming out over the next few days, weeks, months, now that we have many games in the offing and, of course, Premier League football. So keep it locked and I'll leave it there. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds! So as promised, guys, we've got the return of Kathryn Batte. Great debut, so we thought we'd get you back so we could talk about yesterday's game. Thanks for those that watched it previously, and there were some lovely comments in there. I think Kathryn actually said you were called a lovely Hull lady, weren't you? Which you were just telling me there off air that's probably the best compliment you've ever had. Is that right? But yeah, let's just jump straight into it. What's the thought? I mean, we were speaking pre-match about if they could get a result, what it would do for Grant McCann, what it would do for the fans. What's your thoughts after the game?
Well, I mean, I had no optimism, as you know, going in. I don't think many fans did. And do you know what? We showed up and we put on a really good performance. And it was nice to see, 11 players out there really playing for the club and playing for the shirt. And that was something that we felt we lacked a little bit last season. And that's kind of what disappointed fans the most. But to be fair to Grant, he managed to get the players really playing for him yesterday. They all worked really hard, and yeah, I think it's a great start to the season that we've had, winning in the league and then winning this game as well. You can't really ask for much more from him.
No, and do you know what as well? And I've just said it on my video just prior to this. You could have won the game 3 or 4-0 and probably should have. Leeds were really poor, and that's not taking anything away from Hull because you brought the game to us. I thought Malik Wilkes was excellent. He really gave the defenders a torrid time. I thought Louis Coyle was good as well. Made captain on his debut. Honeyman as well. Lewis Potter. I think you just controlled the game and really gave us a great game, and deserved to win the game comfortably, really. And I felt a little bit for you when Alioski scored. I was like, wow, if we win on penalties here, that's going to be a bit of pill to swallow. When Alioski scored, it was totally undeserved. What were your thoughts when we equalised so late on?
Oh, it was like, I mean, we have a phrase that we use as Hull fans called typical City, which is just, we dominate a game, miss loads of chances and then concede late on. And I'd been sort of like, I didn't really care about the game beforehand going into it, but as soon as we took the lead early on and we'd missed all these chances and we'd held on for so long, when we entered in those final minutes, it suddenly became really important. And when we conceded, I just thought, right, that's it. The heads will go down, especially on penalties as well. We'd taken Wilkes off and Honeyman, both of them had taken, because we beat Sunderland in the last round on penalty. Yeah. They'd both taken one in the last round. So we had quite a few young lads that had come on as sub as well. I'm just sort of thinking, this is just typical. So for us to actually go on and win on penalties, I mean, I didn't think one point it was going to come round again because just how many were actually taken. But I mean, it was nice. It was nice the fact that even though we conceded late on, that we still went on to win.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. I thought at one point the penalties were going to go on forever. I mean, some of the penalties were absolutely class, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
it was a bit bitter to see the goalkeeper score for you before some of the outfield players, but fair enough.
I think that's a key point I made, is the fact that Kiko took one before Jamie Shackleton, and when Jamie Shackleton stepped up, I thought there's something not right when a goalkeeper's taking one ahead of an outfield player. And it proved to be our demise, really. But West Ham up next then. That's exciting, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Grant was saying after the game, it's a chance to see Jared Bowen again. I don't know if he'll play. But he might at least be on the bench. And obviously we've got Rob Snodgrass as well, who we sold to West Ham a few years ago. He'll probably play because he played in the last round the other night. So yeah, it's another Premier League team. And again, it's a free shot really. We're not expected to win, so it's another good chance to just go out and put on a good performance.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it before. What's the mood in the Hull City camp with regards to Grant McCann? He's had a great start to the season, 2 wins on the bounce, and decent performances as well. What's the general consensus?
Well, this is where it sounds really bad, because like Hull City fans just aren't optimistic about anything, and because I mean fairly in some cases, but yeah. I saw a lot of stuff on Twitter last night saying. Now we've won the first game, we've beaten Leeds, Yorkshire rivals. We're destined to lose to Crewe on the weekend. So I don't think anyone would be surprised if we then go and play awfully on Saturday. But yeah, because I mean you couldn't really have asked much more from them. Two fairly good performances, still at early stage of the season. So hopefully bring in a couple more players as well and get a little bit more fitter as well. But he's still got a lot to prove. He's still got to win the fans back over it, but he's made a good start, to be fair to him. Yeah,
beating Leeds always goes down well, I think, doesn't it? If we're being honest. Yeah. So what did you make of what did you make of Leeds United, I guess? What did you think to Leeds? I mean, we had Rodrigo, our record signing, playing, didn't really do much. Roberts, I think a lot of the players on the periphery, and I was just saying a second ago, they didn't really do much to warrant knocking on Bielsa's door, for example, saying I should be starting, because I think we were pretty poor. What did you make to Leeds United?
Yeah, you never really kind of got to grips with the game, and you didn't really test our centre-backs either. It's a fairly new pairing, McLaughlin and Jones. Jones is fairly experienced, but McLaughlin's not played loads of times for the first team, and I didn't feel they were really put under much pressure. And I think it doesn't really matter any team. It can be sort of Man United and Arsenal. When you make 11 changes, it is really difficult to kind of put in that performance. And obviously, you'd played so well against Liverpool, and then sometimes 5 or 6 changes maybe it's okay, but to make 11, I think it's always really difficult, no matter what team it is. But yeah, like I say, I mean, there were glimpses. I think like towards the end of the second half, like obviously when you got the goal, it was sort of biting nails a little bit. But I think it was just a case of probably a lot of players that maybe hadn't played with each other much, and sort of just getting used to each other.
Yeah, I think the only shining light for me really was Poveda in the second half, the young tricky winger on the right hand side. But other than that, it was really disappointing. But like I say, I was pretty not scathing, but I did predict a 3-4-0 win, and I know you were quite confident yourself. But yeah, I mean, you've got to be over the moon ultimately. You've beat a Premier League side. Yes, there was, like you said, 11 changes, but on to the next one now and on to West Ham. What do you think? Do you think any of the lads that played will feature, on the weekend for Hull, the likes of Coyle, etc.? Do you reckon? What did you make of him being made captain?
That was a big statement, especially with George Honeyman being in there before, because he had the experience as well. But I think Coyle was probably a candidate for being captain, because we needed a new captain at the start of the season, and Grant went with Richie Smallwood, but it could easily have been Louis Coyle instead. It's gonna be hard, because I actually think Grant's got a bit of a headache. I mean, I thought Coyle was fantastic last night. Agreed, Josh Emmanuel's played the first 2 games before, and he's actually played really well. So it'd be really harsh to kind of just suddenly drop him out of the team. But it's a difficult one. I think Coyle's definitely got more experience, and long term, I think he will be the first choice right back. It's just whether he changes it straight away. Callum Elder came back in at left back, and we've been playing Brandon Fleming there, who's obviously an academy player and did himself no harm in the 2 games that he played. But I think Callum Elder will just get the nod again purely because of experience, and maybe Alfie Jones as well might test Rhys Burke. Rhys Burke didn't have a great end to the season last year, and he was okay at the weekend, but I think Alfie Jones might put him under a bit of pressure. But just again on Leeds, it was just great not to have Pablo Hernandez scoring against us. Every time, I can't remember a time when he's not scored, and obviously he's such a wonderful player, but to just not have him scoring against us was made a change.
Yeah, there's been a lot made today. There's some fans even saying that Bielsa really wasn't bothered and he's seen it as an opportunity. And that's no disrespect to Hull, let me just get that point. But they made the point of saying if he'd have been bothered, Pablo Hernandez would have at least been on the bench, because we know he can come on and grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And I mean, we even had like a defensive midfielder on the bench, but he chose to put a centre back there. I genuinely think maybe he was just testing these players, using a bit of the fringe, and none of them really, took grasp of the opportunity, and certainly can't be knocking on his door, as I said earlier. So moving on to our weekend then, Kathryn, are you positive Hull City now can, continue this rich vein of form and possibly get promotion from League One? I know it's still early doors, but what are your thoughts?
Well, yes, like I say, Crew on Saturday, a newly promoted team, and then the next game after that's Plymouth as well. So, I mean, it's always hard to judge with teams coming up from League Two, because you never know too much about them. But Crew obviously lost to Charlton last weekend, so we should really be winning that at home, and of course some fans will be able to get back into the game as well, perhaps, because one of the test events that'll be
really.
For the players at least have some people in the crowd. But yeah, if we play like we have done in the last two games, we should be fine for Saturday. Just need to take a few more of our chances, I think, because seeing the Doherty miss back again was just I'm not really sure how we got it so wrong.
Yeah, there was a few of them. I know, we've been guilty of that at times. I think if you don't take your chances, you can be punished. And we said it on the watch along we did that they could get punished for these missed chances. Ultimately, you were, but like you say, penalties got you through in the end, and deservedly so, Kathryn. And listen, I hope you have a great season. I hope you turn over West Ham and continue to get better. Because, like you said, I'd love to see you back in the Championship. That's genuine as well. Other Leeds fans might shoot me down for that, but that's just my opinion. Yeah. But yeah, what from what you've seen of Leeds, I know obviously yesterday, but looking at the Liverpool performance, I know it's hard for you as a Hull City fan, but do you think Leeds will be all right in the Premier League? Do you think we'll stay up there?
Yeah, I think definitely of the three teams that went up, you've got the best chance. I think Fulham and West Brom could struggle. I think it's a big game for you at the weekend. Actually, it's Fulham you've got, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
I think you have to win that, really kind of make a bit of a statement. But I mean, looking at you at Anfield, like, you've got no fear. You're one of those teams that have just kind of, you're going to go to places like Anfield and Old Trafford, and not be afraid to play the football that Bielsa's kind of started playing with you. So I think you should be all right, and maybe even sort of like doing what Sheffield United did last season, and maybe kind of working your way up to the top half. But the only fear would be that you might play well in a lot of games and end up kind of having really big score lines. But I think the Liverpool one was maybe a little bit of a one-off. But I have to say, I think you'll definitely be fine.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with you there. There's a lot about being made about us defensively, but last season we kept like 22 clean sheets and stuff. We were up there with one of the best defences across Europe, to be honest. So I think a lot of it's been made. But when you're coming up against the world's best front three, in my opinion, then you're going to concede, aren't you? But we'll have to wait and see. Well, yeah. What you say? Sorry.
2 penalties as well. You can't really.
No, exactly. Well, 4 set pieces in total, so not ideal. But Kathryn, thank you so much again for coming on and taking the time out to come on. Good luck for the rest of the season. Good luck with the stuff with the Mail Online, and it's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you very much.
Thank you.